This is Francesco Abbruzzino with the Uncensored Report. And today I want to talk a little bit about, I'm calling it fact versus fiction. And a lot of this is how people view things, how you come up with this whole fake news paradigm narrative out there. So I wanted to do this comparison. So I took my gun, okay? Got it on safety, chamber's empty, everything, okay? So somebody looks at this and they see a gun. That's a fact, right? And I'm going to compare it to a Muslim story, Arabic story, Islamic story, whatever you want to call it, that involves an interview that I put out that's causing some concern and controversy. Now, like this gun, a fact is there are some individuals taking flight lessons at the Venice Airport. Venice Airport is known as the airport where some of the 9/11 trainers, hijackers, trained at. They lived in I think they lived in two separate houses together, basically, and not all of them were here. So it's a very sensitive issue in Venice when you start having individuals and you talk about that past. It's something Venice and their political leaders and business leaders would like to forget about and not bring back up, and would not like to see happen again, nor would most of the residents here. So, like this gun, it is a fact that there are some individuals training at the Venice airport. It is a fact that some of them have Middle Eastern names, okay? Since the majority of them are Muslim there, perhaps they are Muslim, Islamic, who knows? That is not clear. This is where you start getting into the gray area on the difference of opinions, and this is where you start this whole fake news thing. When I see a gun, I see the fact that I can protect myself. I see that I have a right to it. I have the Second Amendment. I have the Constitution on my side. I see it as a valuable tool, something I carry daily. It's in my pocket daily in case there's any concerns, any issues, if I need to protect myself. A progressive might see this as pure horror. They don't like the fact that there's so many guns out there, that I'm able to carry a gun, that it's part of the Constitution. And so when I report on a guy holding a gun or having a gun, it's going to be more positive. It's going to be like, hey, it's a constitutional right, blah, blah, blah. When they see this gun and they put out their news article, they're going to be, oh my God, Frank Abbruzzino had a gun. He's, oh my God, I'm scared. I got to run for my life. I'm horrified. There shouldn't be a Second Amendment. They shouldn't be given the right to carry a gun so that they can subside to government tyranny. Okay, great. Now, if you compare it to that whole Muslim thing over there, you see the same thing. You know, I look at it, or somebody, I'm not going to say I look at it because my perspective is different than some of those in the patriot movement, if you will. Let's say the people on the right, they'll look at it and they'll say, look, we have a past here. We have a past where we train 9/11 Islamic terrorists here, extremists. We now have, it's been brought to attention that you now have some Middle Easterners training there, the majority of them there. In the video, the guy took a sign and they had all their names up, and it looked like all of them were of Middle Eastern descent. After he went there, the airport for some reason, I believe, took them all down. Some people noted concerns with it. You know, they're a little freaked out, kind of like the progressives with this gun. The right got all freaked out. What are Muslims doing training there? Is it another 9/11? Are they all Islamic? Should this be investigated? And the left, the progressives, are taking the approach that the right takes with the gun. Well, wait a second. It's just an airport. People of Middle Eastern descent. That airport goes out and they advertise towards that people. They try to draw people from the Middle East to here. There's nothing wrong with it. I drew a distinction between saying, look, and this is in relationship to Islam's Middle Easterners, if you want to say. You know, Italians, a lot of it, there's a lot of mafia. I know, I lived in Italy. A lot of mafia is prevalent throughout Italy. Unfortunately, a lot of Italians get pinned as being mafiosa. And there's actually different brands. There's Gomorrah, there's Nagarda. There's different stuff out there. But not all Italians are mafiosos. A very small percentage of them are. Very small. Yet, A lot of people think you are. A lot of people believe in that my culture are these bad guys. I've even been pinned it. Somebody put an article out saying that I was mafios, and even the local football coach here insinuated that at the high school, and the principal made him apologize to me. I'm like, why? Because I'm Italian. And almost, I believe during the election, Hollick made a reference to that, watching his back with me and stuff. So I get that. Now, just like Middle Easterners, not all of them are terrorists, just a small percentage are. So you can't condone every Middle Eastern person out there. I had a doctor who was one of my clients. He was from Syria, his whole family from Syria. Guess what? They were Christian. They weren't Islamic. So you can't really do that. Now, do I think it should need more investigation? Sure. You don't want to just brush it off as the city did. Unfortunately, the city brushed it off, called it fake news, the scoop fake news, and needs to be vetted. No, when someone brings a concern up, you may want to look at it and just see. Who knows? Maybe with 9/11, maybe somebody saw that very same thing, but the city blew it off, or they thought they would blow it off, and they said nothing. And so you can't have the city with this attitude. And I call this fake or fiction because this is how it goes with a lot of news that's out there. I'll see a story where, a good example, I put out an article the other day regarding Hollick with the post office. I'm against his pipe dream that he has going on out there. Well, he came out and he basically said, look, in regards to this post office, I went up, I saw senators, I saw congressmen, postmasters up there. I showed them all kinds of pictures about the upkeep. It wasn't doing good. Now I'm going to have a meeting with the postmaster. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to tell them that we're changing Harbor Drive, where a lot of their employees park, to 2-hour parking. So they're going to have to move. And if I see them parking over in Heckshire, we'll have to do a parking study there. All right. That's fact. That's what he said. Well, when I reported it, I put my opinion into it. Basically, to me, it came across as a threat. It came across as the mayor was harassing the local postmaster so that he would that he could leverage that to get that property. Now, other people who want the post office gone may have viewed it differently. They may have said, oh, I didn't see it that way. I saw him just being nice and courteous and saying, oh, we're changing this to 2-hour parking so that his employees don't get tickets. But it's all, there really is no fake news. The right will sit there and call stuff that the left says fake because they have a different opinion. They'll present the fact and then they'll opine on it. I think what we need to do is, what a lot of these news stations and major networks need to do, is get back to just reporting the news. I've never come out as someone that's just reporting the news. Everybody knows that when I've come out, I've always been someone that's going to opine and give my opinion on the news. My opinion is going to be right-leaning, as everyone knows. I've been very clear on that. But you can't have these major media outlets going out there and saying, we're nonpartisan, we walk a middle line and we're not right or left, yet they are. Yet they try to sell the public that they're not. Just report the news. Let people like myself opine on it. And what's that one saying? Let us report, you decide. Fact or fiction. All right, that's it. This has been Frankie Abbruzzino with the Uncensored Report.